What we want to kind of talk about is positive presences, how to develop those, but how to eliminate some of those stereotypes that might be negative in those spaces, and then how do they affect you professionally, and where you go with that. So it's never too early to start talking about those things and trying to figure out how to build those as well. So when we talk about all the different things, so we're talking about all the little icons you see all over the place, right? So I'm sure you recognize at least 2 out of these 4, right? So do you know what this one is?
No.
That's Flickr. Do you know what Flickr is? Okay, cool. It's picture land, so we'll talk about this.
Okay.
And then this is LinkedIn, which I mentioned as well.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised that you know 2 of the 4, because for your age group and where you are, these 2 would be the most prevalent. Okay. So LinkedIn is professionally probably one of the best social places to really set and think about how you want people to perceive themselves.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when I talk about stereotypes, it automatically in our brain just has that negative connotation. So when you think about stereotypes, like what kinds of things come to you?
Like different kind of races.
Okay, so ethnicity and how that could be positive or negatively construed right away, right? Yeah. Sure, what else?
I don't know, I can't think of anything.
So just that off the top of your head, which I think is a really common answer. You know, when we talk about those types of things, we think about how we kind of pigeonhole people. I always think like clicks sometimes too. If you said clicks instead of stereotypes, then you'd probably in your brain stereotypes of clicks that you've seen. So you can see it in some different ways, and I think sometimes social media is just online clicks in some different ways, and you can use those in some positive ways, generate energy, and then some ways in which they don't show you in the best light as well. So LinkedIn is a really great social site, and really what it is like your online professional resume, experience, who you are, and it allows you to connect with other people in similar professions or disciplines. So I don't even know where, Dana, are you and I LinkedIn? I think I linked you in today because you had asked, and I hadn't been out in a while.
I'm not on LinkedIn yet.
Okay.
I still, everybody keeps sending me stuff, but.
Yeah, so this is Allison Mormino. I am friends with her in multiple environments. I picked Allison because she's a past student body president. Okay. She was a student body president of the Creative Panther Service Day, which we do in the spring, and has done lots of good stuff. So I stole Allison's stuff everywhere we went because she's great, and I could also tell her, "Ha I used you tonight," and she's a great alum and someone that I would say would be cool to be linked in with. And so what this does is allows you to kind of put in information. So it's got where she graduated, what her majors were, all of those different types of things, and kind of create that profile and then connect to a variety of different types of things. So she's connected to people that she went to school with, and then who they're connected to. So it's really that professional connection. And it's a little like trading electronic business cards, only a lot more information, more in depth, those types of things. And so like Allison's linked into 500 people, but it's not how you might link in a Facebook. It's the depth is a little bit different, and you're looking in a more of a professional way. So you know where they're working, who they're connected to, those types of things. So it's great. Like once you go to conferences and start doing that, and you're like, oh great, I can link in, and then can keep up with that and ask different questions. So LinkedIn is a cool site. We'll talk about how you can use that. Twitter, here's Allison again. And as you see, as we move through, she looks a little bit different in each of those environments because the environment itself sometimes dictates, right, what might happen. So she's a little more fun and free-loving in her picture here, right? But Twitter, do you have a Twitter account, did you say? No. So you're just doing Facebook. Okay. So, you know, it was the 140 characters is what you get to type in and say whatever you want. You can put links and all of those types of things. And Twitter in the last couple years has become more professional than it was social as companies have invaded social spaces, right? You know, it used to be on Facebook, it was just all people, and now it's like, oh, look at that, McDonald's trying to talk to me on Facebook, right? So that's a great space too, and to be able to do that, and it's basically Facebook status updates, right?
Yeah.
You just put anything in there and see what's going on, and people talk about. So we'll talk about Twitter too. Facebook, our favorite, right?
Yeah.
So here's Allison on Facebook, and again, it's a little more social, right?
Yeah.
And you can see what's happening. But one thing you'll notice on Allison's page, what she's status updating and doing, the context and how she's doing it is a little bit different, and she's mindful of who her audience is, right? And so those are kind of like the three spaces we want to talk a little bit about. So when we think about, let's use Facebook since that's the one you're in right now, right? So do you have, if someone went to your Facebook page, didn't know you, what would you want them to know about you when they went to your Facebook page?
I don't know how to answer the question.
Like, I just was like, oh, check that out. I could be her friend. And I didn't really know you. What are the three things you'd want me to think about you? And if I was like, oh, she's cool because I know what would your Facebook right now tell me?
It'd probably show you that I'm a funny person.
I post funny, so humor. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm nice.
Okay.
And you probably know a lot about me because I post things that happen during the day or something.
Okay, so it's almost like a diary, a little bit of an online diary for you?
Pretty much.
Okay. And so is that mostly about your personal life, or is it
no personal
work?
Life, just school and stuff.
Just
things that I've seen or something.
Something just random, like I just saw a white squirrel run across the street kind of
I
thing?
probably could use Twitter, but I haven't.
You haven't?
Yeah.
The danger is, you can connect your Facebook and Twitter.
Oh,
and one status updates the other one. See, now you can be twittering by the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
I think, one thing we talk about with Facebook a lot is privacy, right? So what's your privacy settings?
It's on private.
It's on private.
Yeah,
okay.
Pictures and everything.
And I think one of the interesting things right now to think about is nothing's private, right? Like people are always hacking into those things and doing that. But as we move through and we start thinking about stereotypes and those types of things, like absolutely, I think when you said humor, right? So we all think like, okay, so it's great. So they're a funny girl, she's obviously engaged in her environment because she's watching what's going on, right? So when we think about those kind of positive things and what you're talking about is on your Facebook, how can you use those to show professionalism and growth and those types of things? So when you're telling me what you're doing, I'm thinking, okay, if I didn't know you and I was a job prospect and I could hack in and find you, right? I'd be like, looks like she's pretty observant. That's a great stereotype to have, right?
Yeah.
So I think when we think about stereotypes, you got to kind of take it and say, okay, what are the things that would show me professionally to be the professional person that you'd want to put forward?
Yeah.
So what are three things that you'd want somebody who's maybe looking at you for a job or a leadership opportunity?
Well, another thing that I do on my Facebook, I post a lot of quotes. I'm really artistic and I like to write and stuff, so I want them to know that.
So you're creative.
Yeah, creative.
Too. Right.
And I think outside the box. I think small picture, big picture. Like you would see that in my statuses. Like if I post a quote, I'll kind of like break it down, like to where other people can understand it too. Like I'll go in depth with it. So I'm good at doing that. And I can't really think of the third one, but those are the two main ones that I noticed from what I do on my Facebook. So.
Right. So it sounds to me right now you're pretty good about posting positive things.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that maybe you aren't using it as a place to rant about anybody, right?
No.
So I think first of all that's a huge plus. So you're already heading in the right direction when we talk about using social media to kind of show yourself in a positive light. Because I think that's the first thing that starts that kind of stereotyping piece is when you see something that's a little like, really?
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at one of your friends and been like, ooh, did you really post that?
Yeah.
Everybody can see that, right? Like this.
Yeah, I see
right? So
that.
these are examples of like fun and hanging out with your friends, right? So everything's good. Like, I want to know that you're social.
Yeah.
I want to know that you're connected to people.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Especially when we think about professionalism and groups and people want to know, like, I want someone who's social, who can connect, who can be fun and silly. And so all those types of things, you know, are good and positive things. So I know sometimes when we talk about Facebook and locking it all down, like, we do that for two reasons, okay? Safety. People that we don't know don't need to always know about us. Okay? So that's good privacy. Like, the world doesn't have to know everything. You know, I hope your schedule's not out there for the world to see. You know, all those types of things, right? But then sometimes the second reason we talk about privacy is what? I mean, most often when we're talking about locking those down, it's because we're putting up things that we maybe don't want everyone to see because they might construe something that's not actual about us, right? Like this, right? And I mean, sometimes I think we use those privacy controls to be able to limit how people view us in ways that we wouldn't necessarily just want anyone, you know, to view us. And so I think one of the things that's happening with online environments is people are choosing to believe that what you post is authentic to whom you are. So you have to think about those things as well. Not that we all haven't done silly, stupid things like these occasionally. Some of us are blessed not to have documentation of it. Right? And certainly self-posting wouldn't be the best way to kind of start that positive stereotype that you're talking about, right? So we've protected the guilty here, so we don't know who they are, but you know, obviously things that in the spur of the moment don't show us in the most professional light. So as you move forward and you develop your your professional persona, you have to start making some decisions about how to use the power of social networking to still have your private engaged life, but also allow that professional side of you to come forward, because there's power in that that'll take you in some ways. Also allows you to hook with other professionals in these environments that would people that you could meet, network, do all of that with. So how do we limit some of this, you know, to do? And goodness, who wants their kid when you're 50 to find this anyway, right? No evidence, no evidence. So I loved what you were saying about your status and what you use and how you update that, right? So these are some statuses that I told my staff to kind of go out, and I said, you guys go find some stuff from your friends that you just think is funny and would be good, right? So that's what some of these are, you know, as well. You know, forgot to tell my mom about the tattoo, and then it goes off about that, right? But this one in particular, this person's asking about, hey, I've got a job interview and advice. Not really good and relevant advice. Down the list, right? And then eventually she actually says where her job interview is. And so while it's great, you can have that profile setting piece. If you weren't restricted, and Sirius was like, well, let's go see what you look like. And they found this thread. And be like, well, okay, she is asking how can she be prepared, but what's the maturity level of the employee? So I think that's the other kind of stereotype that people are using online, is to decide that maturity scale, which when you're young and you don't have a lot of experience, that's one of those pieces that as many ways as you can to show that you're in that, you know, piece is good as well. So I was glad to hear that your status updates are more kind of like these. Okay, nice quotes, cool things. And I think those show a couple things when we think about stereotypes, you know. Creativity I loved. I thought that was great. Because people are looking for those professionals that are creative and understanding. I also think it shows empathy and compassion, which is great as well, because I think professionals are looking to, when professionals are looking at some of these things, like if your job, you know, you go out and look for job people, you are looking to see, okay, are you going to make the company look bad because you're out there? But also it shows some of those soft skills and soft sides of you that's so hard in an interview sometimes to really bring out, because you can't be like, if you go to my Facebook, I have this great quote this week, and you know, like whatever those are, and you can weave those into those conversations, but it does help show that whom they met
Yeah.
in the interview is authentic. So whether that's Facebook or LinkedIn or any of those, it's that extension to show who you authentically are, and those positive aspects of that stereotype piece, right?
Yeah.
Makes some sense? Okay. So, you said you were thinking about a personal webpage, right? I think that's a fabulous idea. And I am seeing more and more personal web pages on resumes. You know, check me out. It's a way to have a more robust resume.
Yeah.
Those types of things, be able to show your own personal portfolio. What do you think? What's your major? Do you have one yet?
MIS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, jeepers. Your MIS, you better have your own web page, right? Heading in that direction. As well. And so it lets you sport that to the best of your ability as well. And I think what's nice about creating that personal web page is then you can invite people to be your Facebook friend through that, or LinkedIn or whatever that is, and connect to some other places as well. What are some strengths you think that would, develop some of those stereotypes that you'd hope people would have of you that you could kind of put on a web page? What would it allow you to communicate?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's hard when it's just you and me, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm on the spot. There's no one else to take the question. We'll throw it to Dana.
Yeah, you want to try it?
What would you put on a personal web page?
If I had one, I would probably keep it pretty simple because my Facebook is pretty private.
Okay.
And because of the amount of work that I do with students, I'm very selective about what I make put out there for them to see.
Right. So yours might be more professional.
Yeah, like my resume, portfolios, conferences I've done, professional organizations that I'm affiliated with.
Right.
But that's probably going to be about it.
Exactly. So when you think about audience, and I know people that have 2 web pages, they've got their fun family one, it's got all the family business going on, and then they've got their professional one. I'm actually part of a group called Be Enhanced, and it's all creative types.
Okay.
And so they have portfolios out there that you can see the artist's work and all that kind of stuff, because they're like graphic designers and all that kind of thing, and some of their stuff is like cool. Like, this is just kind of cool. And sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I was more that creative type, because there's so much leeway in how you can go about that. Sometimes the rest of us are like, it's a little more black and white. They aren't quite as colorful on the professional end. But I think what Dana's talking about is exactly, she's thinking about her job, right, and how that needs to be viewed, and what kind of like lens, if we don't use stereotype, or what lens would you want to see. And so I think, right now, as a college student, you think about building, that web page, and doing that will allow you to help show what kind of experiences are you having right now. Maybe your statuses turn into a blog. You talked about your advice column, that could be, connected to that, and those types of things. And I think that'll show to people some of those things that you were talking about that's in your Facebook, but in this professional way, to show your empathy and your compassion and your humanity is really what I'm getting as I'm listening to you talk about those kinds of things. Too bad we aren't friends. I might like your status updates and those types of things. So when you think about that, and then it's a way to do a resume that's not as structured as a single piece of paper, right? I mean, Career Services is always going to tell you 1 page, This gives you that opportunity to be like, sure, I have that printable 1 page, here you go, PDF, here's my 1 pager. But how do you make that resume come to life and be a little more, visible? And as you build things into your portfolio that show your growth and development, so you might have, activities participated in, here's all the iLead stuff that I've got to. And that's going to be like, well, check that out. She really is trying to develop skills in a way that'll help her move where she wants to go and in those directions. So that's great. She's really creative, but she's also thinking about how she harness her skills to help her be better in that way as well. If you're writing a lot and doing that kind of stuff, you can put up your pieces. And so like that portfolio, that ability to put some work out there electronically is really great right now as well. So I think that's a great way to go about it. We've talked a little bit about the blogs or the advice columns, and obviously there's online places that's all it is that online piece, which I think in the ways you're talking about would really help develop those positive stereotypes. I think the one thing we talk about whenever I get sometimes nervous when I hear students are like, I blog. What are you blogging about? Because I've seen some blogs that are just like, it's really my online journal.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I just learned a lot. TMI, right? And so how do you harness that or use those things in different ways? Flickr, I know we said that you didn't know what that's about. Next time when you pull up the university homepage, if you see the pictures on the bottom left, those are all Flickr images.
Oh, okay.
And so what's kind of cool about Flickr is people just put up cool photos and that kind of thing. So instead of having to stash your photos, like somehow catalog them on your website, you can have your own Flickr place where you could put pictures of all sorts of ways. So it's a different way to hold your pictures than in Facebook and that kind of thing. And so people can submit Flickr photos to the EIU Flickr account, and that's how the pictures of the week and all that kind of stuff come out. So it's a way to build some community around pictures as well. I think Flickr is a positive thing. I don't really see a ton of stupid pictures on Flickr. It's more that how do I use Flickr to, for professional business and that kind of thing. So it's one of those ways, because it's a little more public. You aren't restricting those down like you would in your Facebook, but it's kind of cool. Business cards and electronic business cards, we talked about that for LinkedIn, right? Well, one of the coolest things that happen electronically right now are these Q codes. Have you seen these?
Yeah.
Seen them around campus, right? And you got a smartphone. Does it have a camera?
Yeah.
Do you have a tag reader in there?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So this is what these do, okay? I've never tried to do it off the computer before.
I don't have a smartphone.
She's limited, isn't she? Let's see here, I'll go to my tag reader. So what these do is they work like a barcode, and basically what you do. We'll see. The scanner is going to take a picture and it's reading it. Let's see if it does it. Oh, no, it didn't like it. I didn't do a good job. But basically what it does is it reads it, and it takes you directly to the website.
Oh, really?
So this is actually an electronic website.
Oh, cool.
And so what I'm seeing now is on business cards, on the back or the front, Q codes. They go to people's personal web pages. Yeah, totally cool. And let's think about, like, what do you think about the person who has a business card with a Q code that takes them to their personal website?
That would be awesome.
And how about that for a stereotype? You know, that awesome girl we met, where's her business card, right? So absolutely. And so, there's some really interesting ways that you can use online resources, but still in a classic sense, right? So you're still providing to that person who wants the classic business card, my name and my email and all that kind of stuff, but for the person who is looking to know maybe a little bit more about you and those types of things, that opportunity to use that Q code to go. Q codes are trackable as well, so you could know, like, there's analytics with web pages, so you could figure out how many people, from your Q code hit your website and all that kind of stuff if you wanted to do that. But I think it's interesting ways to go about that. And there's some things that you can do with the Q codes, like you can color them a little bit and they still work. You can make them flare and all that kind of stuff. You'll probably start seeing them everywhere now that you know what a Q code is. Yeah. There's a Macy's ad that's running right now where there are Q codes in the star. And if you snap it off the TV, it's like a discount code. Oh, cool. Like, so they're being used in some interesting ways. But the one I thought was most relevant here was this business card idea and connecting either to your business, your work business site. Those types of things I think are some cool ways, and I think it sets a tone for how you want to be viewed as that professional as well. I mean, I think it's really easy when we talk about online things to think about like the 10 like no's, right?
Yeah.
10 things we shouldn't do. Say mean things about other people, right?
Yeah.
Tell people what you really did. You know, it's kind of easy to think about that, and I think sometimes that keeps us gun shy and keeps us not putting everything out there. It's a little bit of what Sam said, you know, I'm not out there that much because I'm not sure that the whole world should know a whole lot about me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the other thing that happens stereo-wise too. You just ever met someone where you were like, well, that was an overshare.
Yeah.
You know, like someone where you just like, you got done and you're like, wow, did I really need to know all of that?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we're seeing on those online environments, that some people have just gone a skosh over the top, and that maybe some of that's cool for family and your closest like 3 or 4 friends.
Yeah.
But you know, I give the students that work for me a hard time sometimes because I'm like, let's go, let's look at the page. What do you got going?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, really? You have 1,000 friends? Really?
Yeah.
Like, do 1,000 people need to know all of this? And how do you keep up with them? I think the other thing on the Facebook piece is, are you part of any groups on Facebook?
Just a few.
Okay. She did not need this presentation, did she? She's pretty good. We're missing the ones, you know. We're hiring right now for our staff in our office, and check Facebook pages. We want to go see what's going on. And so when I look at the groups, like if you're part of a, you know, take down EIU, but you want to be an orientation leader, not really a good sign that I should hire you, right?
Yeah.
So those groups that you're a part of set a tone for how you connect, and sometimes we join those just to be stupid, and then it's like, oh, we should really unjoin, you know, that kind of thing too. So it's as much about how what your personal stuff you put out there, but also what do you join and how do you choose to join? You know, are you really selective? Are you connected to really cool organizations?
Yeah.
Like you said, you're a part. What kinds of things are you a part of on campus?
I'm actually part of LASA.
See, so that would be great, right?
Yeah.
As last have a group out on see, so that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and so I can tell a little bit about you joining that association that are positive things, right? And those would be things you'd be willing to tell anyone. And so I think some of those types of things. Lots of professional organizations are out there now, so you know you can join those and do those types of things. It's just those silly groups that get you into some trouble, or they sometimes they can show your quirky flair. You know, there's the you know Harry Potter club, or okay, so it's a little quirky. You know, so one quirky, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
15 quirkies. You know, because then people are also rating maturity, which we talked about, but. Of a person are you, and how does that come across? And I think what's great at this point is there's an expectation due to age about what your online things may or might look like. So like right now people are going to be a little more forgiving than they'll be 4 years from now than they would be 10 years from now, right? As we grow and we mature and do those types of things. But what I would encourage you to do is think about what would you want out there. And as you're getting ready to do summer internship things or those types of things, you know, what do you have out there that you would be like willing to be open about? You know, like LinkedIn is a perfect example of somewhere there aren't privacy. That's not. It doesn't even have that, right? Because its whole idea is to really connect you professionally. So how could you use something like that to build that professional side of yourself? So that if you did make a personal business card and you wanted to put some sort of social media on there, LinkedIn would be the perfect thing to say, find me on LinkedIn, right? And then you can be like, okay, cool, so I can just ratchet down that Facebook and I can still do my silly things to my friends because I know that's not where my professional life lives. But you also know you're keeping yourself in check there too. Any ideas rolling around in your brain now? You might look at social media a little differently for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I might try to do that. I mean, is there a certain like age for LinkedIn?
No.
Because I might try that.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like it would be better instead of just putting everything on Facebook.
Get on there and then link into me. I'll be your LinkedIn
Okay.
buddy. I'll be your first one.
Okay.
And I think what's nice about LinkedIn is it's as active as you want to be. You know, you can put out there what you want. People contact you in different ways. It's not, I don't think it's heavy maintenance. You know, some places people are like, really? You know, like I haven't tweeted in a while. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Or I was at a professional conference and I'm friends with some people on Facebook and I said, oh, well, let's update our status. You know, we were in New Orleans for the conference and somebody was like, well, how long has it been since you updated that status? So I was saying, like, now, hey, listen, I do not have to update my status every 15 minutes for you. That's too close. You know, I'm like, I update when I have something that's worthwhile, you know, saying. So I think that LinkedIn might be a good place to start. Absolutely. I think based on some of the things that you were talking about and everything, that the webpage might be a good just place to play right now. You don't have to publish it. You just go out there and play with your major. That'd be great, because I know that's one thing, right? A lot of the MISs, they're looking for those web skills as well. And so as you think about professionally, that's going to be a good place for you to show some experience. I think the other thing on both of those, but particularly the personal websites, that's going to be your opportunity to also say, you know, here's some educational things I had. Like on our resume, we won't like list out the kind of classes we took, but like that web page is a good thing to say, you know, core skills. You know, C++, I don't even know if we do that anymore in Poland, but you know, I don't think we write in Cobalt anymore either, but you know, whatever those kinds of things are that you're learning to be able to gain those skills, kind of put them out there in a different way, and you know, architecture, those types of things you'd be able to do. So you might be able to take that in a couple different ways as well. What else are you thinking about? Anything? Are you done? I know, overload. You've been so good just to sit here and let Dana videotape us.
I don't think I'm done at the moment, but
any other ways you've seen people using social media like this? There's always something new out there that I never know about. Anything on the horizon that you've heard?
Let's see. I don't know, lately there's been some weird stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Some weird pictures, and I think that, I don't know, someone's trying to turn it into something totally different. Like, like bad pictures. If that, like, just things that, because there's like, my sister's in 8th grade, she has a Facebook. It's like pictures that I wouldn't want her to see. And so, I don't know, I feel like we're kind of trying to change it into something that's
really pretty open now compared to how it's been. I agree.
Definitely.
I agree. Do you feel like do you think you and your peers are less on Facebook now than you think older generations have been? We've been having a conversation. Are people pulling back a little bit from Facebook and not using it as much?
Yeah, like I see a lot of statuses that say I'm done with Facebook. I'm moving on to Twitter or something. So.
Right.
But I see a lot of that, and I feel like
I think if you're just doing the status stuff, the Twitter's a lot easier.
Exactly.
You don't have to maintain all the other Facebook stuff, you know, and you can change your picture on that one too. You just keep one out there as well. And I think there's just always, technology-wise, there's going to be something else out there. And so I would just say, when you're thinking about anything that's new and emerging, is what is it that it brings you, and how would you represent yourself? And then that's how I make decisions about what I join or what I don't join. And some places are easier to get out of. You know, Facebook makes it really hard to quit them. Have you ever talked to anyone who tried to quit Facebook?
No.
To delete each and every single thing individually.
Oh, wow.
Like every picture you put up, you have to delete individually.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty painful. But I think the other thing to think about is, as you're moving forward, how do you change that? So, you know, okay, as you move forward, I talk to my education students all the time as they're getting ready to student teach, and some of the things Dana talked about. Okay, well, it's probably been okay for a while to have all that. Now just pare it down and make it a little more professional. It's not that you can't have fun or be yourself. It's just be it in the way that will be most respectful.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I appreciate you talking. I think you're already using it in some really great ways. So.
Yeah, my mom gave me a long talk about
Yay,
how to use it.
Well, tell your mother tonight that somebody else said, good job. But I think there's some good ways to use it, and I think the conversations about what stereotypes you want are just those professional ones you talked about. So maybe this will get you thinking in some different ways.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being so patient.